morning, mammals. It's another beautiful day in San Diego. We're headed to Rancho Bernardo to go visit Tommy's 1965 convertible Mustang 289 V8 yet again. It's got a couple other issues. I went there a few days back and I didn't film anything, but I was just checking his brakes out. And the rear brakes look really good. Assembly looked relatively new. The shoes are in good shape. The drums are in good shape. All the springs and everything still had paint. Everything looked just a little bit dusty, but really not bad at all. It was surprisingly clean in there. So I took a bunch of pictures of the wheel cylinders, got the numbers off of those in case I want to replace those down the line. But I bled the whole system, and then I was looking at the master cylinder and found a proportioning valve that was hiding, that you couldn't really see. And it was cranked all the way to the front. Once I figured out the proportioning valve was out of whack, I got everything back kind of into a normal setting. I didn't get a chance to drive the car though, so hopefully we get to do that today. His fog lights are not working right, so I fixed them once before and it ended up being just like a loose ground, but they were a little intermittently flashy. Right now they're just off, so it's a kind of a convoluted circuit because it goes through the headlight switch, it goes through the fog light switch, it goes through the ignition, and it goes through a breaker. So I'm thinking the breaker's bad. I got a bunch of stuff to figure it out today, so we're gonna chase that problem. Last time I was here, I noticed he had like loose bolts on the right side and no bolts on the left side for his tie rods, the securing bracket that like squeezes it together. So that thing's just been floating. So I was just like, okay, whoa, don't drive the car. I got some bolts. They're kind of like carriage bolts. Hopefully those are the right ones. I brought all my hardware just in case, so we'll make something work. So I brought my big tape measure and a couple pieces of wood, and we're gonna do the toe measurement and make sure, you know, the front wheels toe in, toe out, make sure we're in the right toe setting there, because who knows what's been happening with that thing floating around. And this girl is just getting her bearings in the car, and she's just walking around. I gotta like be careful because she'll want to jump out the windows. But yeah, we're on week 2. She's doing good, and we're getting to have a good bond, so I'm really stoked to have her. Without further ado, let's get to doing stuff. Are you cross because you're tied up? You can't go run around. It's okay. So we're working on the fog lights here. Let me show you what we got going on. Okay, here's the switch. We got the headlight switches on the other side of the steering wheel, and then up here we have where a wire comes in. This one right here with the tape on it is us. It goes to this connector. Now I replaced the breaker, which is right here, and it was bad, but this guy was keeping it from working, so I had to take that apart, wiggle it, then it started working again. Old connector, so I'm gonna take this apart right now and file it down a little bit, get some fresh metal on there, put a little cleaner on it, and then put it back together, and we should be good. And I got to remind my customer that the fog lights only come on when you have the headlight switch engaged, and the key ignition has to be at least into on mode or accessory mode. So just gonna clean that connector up, make sure it's working right, and then we should be all right from there. And then moving on to the next thing, which is going to be the tie rod ends and the toe adjustment. All right, so turn the key on, headlights on. All right, no fog lights. Fog light switch. Boom. All right, so we're adjusting the toe here. So these are pieces of tile, piece of woodworks. Get it flush up against both sides of the tire so you have an even pane facing forward, and then overhang it a little bit if it's not long enough. Ideally, you have it on both the front and the rear. Then you run your tape measure underneath, and see, I've got it weighted here so it stays on par. We're at 67 1/4, almost exactly on the front. So now we're gonna do it on the back of the tire. I give myself a little bit more overhang here, but you can see I'm still on the same point of the, basically the high point of the sidewall. So I've got an even measurement from both sides. As long as you make sure this thing's flush, which I'm doing with this weight, your measurement will be good. Make sure you're locked in. All right, let's see what's up. Looks like 68 1/16. All right, so here's the rub. Front of the wheel, 67 1/4. Behind the wheel, 68 1/16. So the difference there is 13/16, and it's toe in. So if my hand's the wheel, this is the front, it's toed in like this. So it's sticking out 1 inch almost more in the rear than it is in the front. So that's way too much. So we want it to be 1/8 of an inch. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna turn the sleeves, which have been loose with no bolts in them, just kind of floating around, making their own adjustments.
we're gonna adjust those until we get even. And I think it's gonna take the crookedness out of the steering wheel, because that's a lot. Like I said, factory is 1/8 of an inch. We're almost at a full inch. So yeah, let's get that done. All right, so these are opposite threaded. So when you turn this way, it pulls them both in. When you turn it that way, it turns them both out. So let's go out. Let's try 1/4 of a turn. So we've been moving these things all over the place. And right now we're at the rear. We are at 67 and 9/16. Boom, on the dot. Let's do the front. 67 and 7/16. So we are an 1/8 inch toe in. And the steering wheel went straight. We got some new hardware in there, got her adjusted, and she should be good to go. So let's tighten up that other side and then we're done. Whoever decided that was okay, just stop doing any mechanical things, bro. So yeah, those aren't even close to yield. Can't believe they've been driving on this. Yeah, we're gonna put a little bit more mustard on them. I got a lot more on those things. So yeah, now we're finally together and safe. So let's go for a drive. All right, so the steering wheel's still a little bit to the left. Just a little bit. But she drives a lot straighter. She seems to have a lot more responsiveness going on. That's pretty good.
So finished up in Rancho Bernardo, on the way back to San Diego right now. I'm really happy with the way the job went. Took a while to get the fog lights going. Ended up being more than just the breaker. It was really hard to find because typically you just jiggle the wires and you kind of get an intermittent power. But it wasn't doing that. Like I had to squeeze the connector like really hard and then it would work. And then after about 10 seconds it would stop working. So it was really tough to find. It took me a while. But we got it done. Handling is way better. Braking feels more even. So yeah, I'm happy on the day. Everything's better than it was. And yeah, I'm heading back to San Diego to my shop. Gonna grab some lunch. Gonna try and catch up with another customer. Other than that, pretty good to go today. That'll do it for this video. Really appreciate you guys tagging along and subscribing, liking, commenting, all that stuff really helps my channel. I'm putting a lot of effort into this, posting a lot of videos lately. It's gonna keep continuing into the future. So any love you can show me is much appreciated. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Until next time, I'll see you when I'm looking at you.